The glass walls of Harrison Global Enterprises reflected the golden rays of the Manhattan sunset, casting an almost royal glow across the CEO's corner office. Inside, Linda Harrison sat behind her mahogany desk, tapping a manicured finger against a stack of glossy profile folders. Each folder contained the face, net worth, and background of a man so rich his name was practically a brand. Linda was the kind of woman people whispered about at charity events: sharp, calculating, and always 3 moves ahead. She had built her empire from the ground up, but her personal life was a different story. Widowed, young, and unwilling to remarry for love, she had poured everything into her business, until she decided it was time to complete the picture. That picture, in her mind, was not just a happy family, but a perfect family, one that would boost her social image and her company's prestige. And for that, she needed the right man by her side. Her daughter, Emily Harrison, a 23-year-old journalism graduate with a kind heart and stubborn streak, had been avoiding this conversation for months. But that evening, Linda made sure there was no escape. She invited Emily to dinner at their luxurious Upper East Side penthouse. The dining table was set like a scene from a lifestyle magazine: crystal glasses, gold-rimmed plates, and a view of the twinkling city below. Halfway through their meal, Linda slid the stack of folders across the table. "Emily," she said with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes, "I've done something for you, and for us." Emily frowned, flipping open the first folder. A tech billionaire. The next, an oil tycoon. Then a Hollywood producer. Each one more powerful and famous than the last. "What is this?" Emily asked, her voice tight. "They're candidates," Linda replied smoothly. "5 of the most influential, wealthy, and respectable men in America. I've met them personally. I believe one of them could be your new father." Emily blinked, stunned. "My father?" "Yes." "I know it sounds unconventional," Linda said, sipping her wine. "But think about it, these men could provide stability, power, and prestige. It's not just about love, Emily. It's about securing a future for this family." Emily pushed her plate away. "Mom, I don't need a father. And you don't need to marry someone for money." Linda's gaze hardened. "You're young. You don't understand how the world works. Sometimes, love comes after stability. I want you to meet them at least once. You'll see I'm right." Emily looked at the glossy photos again, smiles polished for the camera, eyes hiding ambition. They were all rich. All powerful. All strangers. That night, as she lay awake in her apartment, the folders sat unopened in her bag. Emily couldn't shake one thought: why was her mother so sure love had to be bought? The following week, Linda Harrison's company hosted its annual charity gala for education at the Plaza Hotel. The ballroom glittered under crystal chandeliers, and the air buzzed with the scent of expensive perfume and whispered business deals. Billionaires, celebrities, and politicians mingled in designer suits and couture gowns. At the front table sat the 5 candidates Linda had carefully hand-picked for Emily. Each man smiled with quiet confidence, as though they were certain she would choose him. Linda, in an emerald silk gown, kept glancing toward the entrance, waiting for her daughter's arrival. Emily finally appeared, wearing a simple but elegant navy dress. Heads turned as she entered, not because of diamonds or an entourage, but because of the calm determination in her eyes. Linda rose to greet her. "Darling, everyone is here. Tonight is perfect. After the auction, you can make your announcement." Emily smiled faintly. "Yes, Mom. I'll make my choice tonight." The evening unfolded with speeches and performances. The 5 wealthy men took turns speaking to Emily, each offering polite charm and subtle promises of the future they could give her mother and, by extension, her. But Emily's mind was elsewhere. As the final auction item was announced, Emily quietly slipped away from the main tables. She headed toward the service corridor, where staff bustled back and forth, carrying trays and clearing dishes. That's where she found Mike Turner, the janitor who had been working at Harrison Global for years. Mike was in his late 30s, wearing a clean but worn uniform. His sleeves were rolled up, revealing calloused arms. At his side was his 8-year-old son, Jacob, clutching a small stack of books. Mike had brought him because the babysitter had cancelled last minute, and he couldn't leave him alone. Emily knelt to greet Jacob. "Hey buddy. Reading tonight?" Jacob grinned shyly. "Dad says I should read while he works." Mike looked embarrassed. "Sorry if we're in the way, Miss Harrison, we'll stay out of sight." Emily shook her head. "You're not in the way. In fact, come with me." Moments later, the MC called for Emily to take the stage. Linda sat forward in anticipation. The 5 billionaires straightened their ties. Emily stepped up to the microphone, her voice steady. "My mother asked me to choose a new father from 5 of the wealthiest men in America. She believes money builds a family. But tonight, I realized something: love, respect, and kindness build a family." She turned toward the crowd. "So my choices isn't on that list." Gasps echoed through the room as Mike and Jacob stepped onto the stage. Mike's face was a mix of shock and disbelief. Emily continued. "This is Mike Turner. He works hard every day, not for power or fame, but for his son. He shows the kind of love and sacrifice no money can buy. If I ever have a father, a guy, I want it to be someone like him." Linda's smile froze. The billionaires shifted uncomfortably, but Jacob beamed, and Mike whispered, "Are you sure about this?" Emily nodded completely. The applause started slowly, then grew, because in that room of wealth and status, everyone knew she had chosen something priceless.